Welcome to my channel Meenakshi vidhyamandir. I am Meenakshi, teacher as a self-employed, teaching experience having more than 3 years. In this video of my channel, I am going to discuss or explain plant kingdom. Please see it at the last of my video. It is the only first part of plant kingdom. Now what is plant kingdom? First of all, we know that in the world there are so many, or we can say variety of organisms are present, that is so difficult for us to study them or to understand them easily, their features and many other things. At last, Robert Pitker, he was the one who classified the organisms into 5 kingdoms: Monera, Protista, Fungi and Animalia. All Animalia and Plantae, all of them having different characteristics. So we are not going to discuss above four kingdoms. We only discuss plant kingdom deeply. So plant kingdoms, name suggests that having plants. So basic characteristics of plants are that plants have cell wall, having eukaryotic nucleus, having autotrophic nutrition, and multicellular. So there are two type of classification systems are there: natural classification system and phylogenetic classification system. In natural classification system, classification is based on natural characteristics, either external or internal features. Phylogenetic classification system is based on evolutionary relationships or evolutionary characters. So what is taxonomy? It is the main question arises first, that what is taxonomy? Taxonomy means arrangement or classifying groups of organisms on the basis of shared characters. Means a group having members which having sharing characters. All organisms in a single group carrying same characters, and different group having different characters. So in the plants are classified on the basis of two type of taxonomy: cytotaxonomy and chemotaxonomy. Cytotaxonomy is taxonomy or grouping organisms on the basis of cytological information like chromosome, human structure, nuclear structure and behavior and many things, number of chromosomes and etc. Chemotaxonomy is based on the chemical constituents of the plants. Okay, now move on further. That here we in previous classes or in previous chapters we studied that the plant kingdom have 5 phylums or 5 members. First is thallophyte, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm and angiosperm. Thallophyte commonly known as algae, because all organisms in thallophytes are similar to algae. They having chlorophyll, they having thalloid body like bag-like body, and are aquatic organisms. The habitat for algae are moist stone, soil, and a moist place. There is a common example. We all know that the lichen, which is the combination, or which is the symbiotic relation between fungi and algae. Here algae provide food. To the fungi, to the organism. Okay, and there are many examples of algae are Chlamydomonas, Volvox, Elatrix, Pyrogera, and many other. So, what is the type of reproduction found in the algae? There are 3 type of reproduction found in the algae: vegetative, asexual, and sexual reproduction. The vegetative reproduction is by fragmentation, or these fragments are called thylus. This type of fragmentation we commonly see that in the Spirogera. In previous classes or in 10th class, We commonly discuss Spirogera in vegetative reproduction, or in which it divides into fragments, and then each fragments develop into new organism, and like that. Asexual reproduction, in which spores are producing new organism. And in sexual reproduction, fusions of gametes take place for formation of or for production of new organisms as similar to the parent. The gametes in the gametes in the sexual reproduction are of three types: isogamous, anisogamous, and oogamous. Iso means similar. So in isogamous, the gametes are similar in structure, similar in size, etc. So the fusion of this type of gametes are called an isogamous. And the anisogamous, the gametes fusions of two gametes which are dissimilar in size or dissimilar in structure. This is called anisogamous. Or in oogamous, the fusion of gametes take place in non-motile and motile gametes. Non-motile gametes generally is large, and it is a female gamete, and motile gametes is small or a male gamete. So this type of reproduction is found in volvox and fungus. Okay. Now, what are the advantages of algae? As we know that algae is a photosynthetic plant, so it take place many and an important role in the fixation of carbon dioxide. So half of the carbon dioxide on earth is fixed by algae, and it increases the dissolved oxygen in the environment, and it is the primary producer for the food cycle, and it is a rich, and we can say it is an energy rich component for the organisms, or aquatic animals. So what are the uses of algae? Algae are commercially used. For example, agar, which is a commercial product of Gelidium and Glaciaria, which are used in the preparation of ice creams and jellies, which are used in daily life. There is another example of also spirulina and chlorida. Spirulina and chlorida, these algae, or these type of algae, are used in space travelers for source of protein, because it is a protein rich algae. So these are the uses of algae. And what are the types of algae? Because because in the world we see different colors type of algae, like green algae, brown algae, or a red algae. So on the basis of colors as well as different characteristics, so algae are divided into three types: chlorophyce, pheophyce, and rhodophyce. In the further sheet we are discussed that. Okay, what is chlorophyce? Chlorophyce is generally known as green algae, because it is having chloroplast, or dominance of chlorophyll A and B. Chloroplast, which is discoid in shape, plate-like, reticulate, cup-shaped, etc. So what is phrenoid? It is the common question arised in our mind. What is phrenoid? Phrenoid is a storage body which store food in the form of oil droplets, and it is protein rich also. Algae having rigid cell wall, which is made up of outer cellulose and inner pectose chemicals, and we can say it is a double layered cell wall. So what kind of reproduction take place? It is a kind of algae, so it is having three type of reproduction: vegetative reproduction, asexual reproduction, and sexual reproduction. Vegetative reproduction is take place with fragmentation, and asexual reproduction take place with spores or zoospores, which are flagellated. Sexual reproduction is take place with type of sex cells, which are either isogamy, anisogamy, or oogamy. So examples of green algae are Chlamydomonas, Volvox, Ulothrix, Spirogera, and Chara. etc. etc. Okay, so what is it? Phaeophyce. Phaeophyce is a brown colored algae found in marine habitat and having a height of 100 meters from the ground and containing chlorophyll A and C. It is stored food in the form of carbohydrate and having cellulose wall. The algae plant body are attached to the substratum with three type of structures: by a holdfast, or having a stalk, or having a leaf-like organ called frond. Algae algae body is classified in these type of different features because it having a hold fast for attaching to the substratum and having a leaf like structure called fronds and a stalk called stripe. These type of features are found in algae body. So it is also having three type of reproduction: asexual reproduction, vegetative reproduction, or sexual reproduction. Okay, so examples of these this type of algae is Dictyoita, Fucus, etc. What is Rhodophyce? Rhodophyce is another type of algae which is red in color, found in warmer areas, having red pigment, or also called as arphisotherine, having chlorophyll A and D, or it is stored food in the form of starch or floridine starch, which is a amylopectin. This type of it is also having three type of reproduction: vegetative reproduction with the fragments, asexual reproduction with non-motile spores, because in the previous two type of algae the zoospores are flagellated and moving, but in this type of algae having non-motile spores and non-motile asexual reproductive method, and sexual reproduction having motile and non-motile gametes. Motile and non-motile gametes means oogamous type of reproduction, oogamous type of sex cells they have. Examples we know Porphyra and Grisalia. Okay, now move on the next topic. Before move on the next topic, there are some structures of algae, like this is the Phaeophyce. Now okay, now I am having okay. This is the type of Phaeophyce having holdfast, stripe, and frond. This is holdfast, which is used for the attachment to the substratum. Stripe, it is a stalk-like, and frond. Okay, and this is, and ये देखिए. Okay, yeah. Okay, now move on the Bryophyta. It is the second member of our plant kingdom, or we can say second phylum of our plant kingdom, named Bryophyta or a bryophyte. It is also having some basic characteristics that grow in the moist shaded area in the hills, and it is also known as amphibian of the plant kingdom because it is live in the soil and water. Soil for the attachment and for the survival, but it is depend for the reproduction on water. For sexual reproduction, it is depend for water, so it is called amphibians of the plants. It is thallus like, erect, and having no true roots, only having root like structures and stem like structures. The main body is haploid. Okay, so the sex organ in bryophytes are multicellular. Okay, so main sex organ of the bryophyte is known as antheridium. And the female sex organ of bryophyte is called archegonium. Archegonium, which is a flask shaped, a large shape है. And antheridium produce anthrozoids, and archegonium produce single cell. These two type of cells, sex cells, fuse together to form zygote. As we know that the fusion of these sex cells need water, and the zygote, before dividing, it develops into sporophyte, which is a multicellular body, and these sporophyte produce spores, which further produced, or which further germinated into gametophyte, which is haploid, and further further features or further processes take place after that. देखिए, this is the picture of the bryophytes having rhizoids, which is used for the substratum attachment, and gamma cups containing gametophytes. Okay, as we this is the rhizoid for the attachment to the substratum. This is the main axis, a stranding axis, or leaf-like structures also having, and the capsule. This capsule carrying spores. These spores are bursted out and spread or dispersed in large area, far away from the plant, and converted into gametophytes and produce new organism. Now, bryophytes includes mostly mosses and liverwort. So, what is liverwort? Liverwort having thalloid body. We know that what is thalloid? Thalloid is a thallus-like or a bag-like structure. Okay, thalloid is a dorsoventral and oppressed. They found in moist, shady area like streams bank, the bark of tree, area which is muddy or marshy, damp soil, and many acid moist areas. And what type of reproduction they have? Sexual reproduction by fragmentation, or a formation of structure called gamet, which is also known as gamet cups. So what is gamet? Gamet are green and multicellular asexual buds that develop into small receptacles called gamma cups, and these gamma cups are these gamet are detached out from the plant body and germinate into new individual. And this is the type of asexual reproduction. Now, what are the type of sexual reproduction they have? Liverwort have. They having male and female organs called thalli, and these thalli fusion of gametes take place. Sporophytes produced, and these sporophytes are undergoing to meiosis process and produce spores, and these spores now germinated into free living gametophytes. And this type of reproduction found in Merchantania means it is the example of liverwort that having these type of characteristics. Now move on the moss. What are moss, and what are the members of moss bryophytes having characters? It is the life cycle. In the life cycle of the moss, the gametophytes having two type of stages. First is protonema stage, and second is leafy stage. In protonema stage, the spores are developed. Protonema stage, which is developed from spores, and these are green, creeping, and branch flagellated stages. And the leafy stage developed from protonema. Secondary protonema means the secondary state of protonema developed into leafy state, and which is the upright, slender, and leaf bearing. and this stage having sex organs means this stage is benefited, or it is the first point for the sexual reproduction, means it having two type of cells, male and female. Male is antheridia and female is archegonia. These two are divided, or these two are fused together and form zygote, which develop into sporophyte, and this sporophyte having three type of structures: foot, seta and capsule. These capsules consist spores, and these spores are responsible for the spores dispersion and develop into new plant. This type of features are found in funaria. Okay, so here we end our session. In the first session we discussed basic characteristics of plant kingdom, discussed about algae, discussed about type of algae, and a second members bryophyte we discussed. In the second session, or in the second video, I am going to discuss next three phylums or next three members of plant kingdom: pteridophyte, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you.